it.
Good evening, everybody. This is Bill Klingberg with SCORE. Welcome to our webinar. First, a quick thing about SCORE. We are a nationwide organization of volunteers. There's 11,000 of us nationwide. Here in Houston, we have 150 volunteers. We have lawyers, we have accountants, we have manufacturing, we have sales and marketing people. People from all different kinds of backgrounds. The key to SCORE in getting some help is to find somebody that's been there and done that. So start off at our website, houston.score.org, and click on Take a Mentor, Find a Mentor, sorry, and put in a keyword. If you want to start a restaurant, put in the word restaurant and click. You will find mentors here in Houston who own restaurants. It's best to get this kind of thing from someone who has been there and done that. And keep in mind that all of our mentoring is free. We also offer all kinds of things with education. We're putting on these webinars. We used to put on face-to-face workshops, but that's no longer. But anyway, let's get on to tonight. I'm going to introduce Sandra Louvier with HCC, who is going to introduce our speaker for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to a partner event. It's SCORE and HCC. And we've been doing these digital marketing clinics on site at HCC Alief Hayes since last September on a monthly basis. And when we went digital in the month of April, it was so popular that we decided to do 2 a month after this. And so we're really disappointed that we can't get together and see you, but on the other hand, we're happy that we were able to pivot so quickly and to be able to still gather and teach you and have Beth, have access to Beth, because she's a guru in digital marketing. And so she's picked a specific topic today, but I do want you to know that we'll be having these every second Wednesday evening. And now in May, we'll have it every second Wednesday and every fourth Wednesday. And then we'll take a look at where we are in May and see if we still need to keep going digital. Maybe we'll even do 1 in person a month and 1 digital a month when everything gets back to normal. And God knows when that'll be. But the point is there's lots of opportunities to pivot for small business owners. And HCC ourselves have been doing that. SCORE's been doing it. And all the small business owners in our business plan competition have been doing it. And I know you are too. And so one of the ways to pay attention to still being able to stay in touch with your market is how do we maximize digital marketing. And so that's where this clinic comes in handy, because it's about Q&A on different kinds of digital marketing topics, as well as honing in on a specific topic. And the specific topic today is something that I'll let Beth introduce. And Beth, I've known her for, gosh,
Probably 20 years.
10, 11 years, I think.
Like that.
You've been in the market for like 20 years. And these clinics were happening way back when I met her. And I'm glad that we were able to bring her back to evening clinics, because it seems like some people can't get all the stuff that they need in the evenings and weekends, because a lot of these things happen during the day. So thank you, Beth, for being available to do this in the evening. And we're glad that we can all have a chance to gather here today. So without further ado, I give the mic and the stage to Beth Guide.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Okay, so my name's Beth Guide. I'm with a company called SEO 411. Just a few little housekeeping items to start with. First of all, I'm going to kick up and get my screen shared here. Sorry.
Please do speak up, Beth.
Oh, okay. You can't hear me good? Is that what you're saying?
Well, sometimes when you're trying to get something live, you're mumbling because you're paying attention to what you're doing.
Oh, I got you. All right. Okay, so we'll see if that's a little bit better too. All right, so my name's Beth Guide. I'm with SEO 411, and we're going to talk about Google tonight and Google My Business specifically. It is one of those things that has changed in the marketplace all the way along, we would talk about things like SEO, and talk about how to get your site ranked. And historically, what we were talking about was something like this. Let's just do SEO. Okay, which I spelled that wrong, but that's okay. All right, so if you come here, you get some listings here. You get companies down here, and historically, 98% of the clicks happened in this part of the screen. What's happened now is Google's come in and they've added a map section. And on any website or any search that has this map, that map now has taken over 90% of the clicks. So in order for your business to be maximized, if you have a search term that has this map attached to it, that should be your primary focus rather than coming in and scoring down here. Because the fact is, most people don't go beyond that. If you think about doing that search on a mobile phone, Mexican restaurant near me, which that's always like I feel funny even saying it because there is like no Mexican restaurants right now. But if I go Mexican restaurant near me, you'll see it's right there in there. It pulls up the ones that are close to me. They says what they have. You never come down here and see what are the top 10 Mexican restaurants in Spring, or what is the 30 best restaurants from Yellow Pages or Yelp. You don't ever go here. You stop right here. So the question should be on everybody's mind, how do I get here? And that's what I want to talk about tonight, because I think as small business owners, we need to be aware of the things that we need to do to be able to rank in this section of a Google page when I have more 98% of the clicks happening in here. And theoretically, with this the way it is right now, most people don't even click past this. They look here, they may go to the map section on Google. They get this section here. If I click on this first one here, it's going to give me the website. It's going to give me the phone number. It's going to tell me about DoorDash. It's going to give me all this great information. I have no reason pretty much to go to that website, to that business's website anymore. So that's where we're going to go tonight. And that's some of the things that we're going to talk about. And I'm going to keep this window up. And then we're going to bring a second one in here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to say, how do you get in that map section? So everybody should have a Google My Business account. And we're going to talk about that here. And you're going to go to google.com/business. And what it's going to do is it's going to come up here and it's going to say manage now. It's going to say, or sign in. So I have an account, but let's kind of say I'm not. I'm going to say manage now. And it's going to log me in because I'm already logged in. So let me sign out of this. Hold on. Sign out of all accounts. Let's go back a page here. Manage now. And it's going to ask me to log in with what my Google account is. So let me log in with one that doesn't have a Google My Business account, so I kind of look like you as opposed to me. All right, so this one only has a few on it. We're going to tell it we want to add, you're going to come up with this panel here, and you're going to tell it you want to add a location. And we're going to say we want to add a single location. And it's going to say, find or manage your business. And you're going to put in whatever the name of your business is. So on this one, I am going to put in, let's see. I know what we're going to put in. We're going to put in, let's put in just it's in this account anyway. But it's going to come by and it's going to ask me, what is the name of your business? I put that in. I'm going to say next. I'm going to say, what is the category that best fits this? And tell it next. The office will show up on the map. When customers are looking for it, you're going to tell it next. And yes, it's going to ask for what the address is. And I'm going to say 4582 Kingwood Drive. And if you notice, it says Humble. In my case, I'm going to change this to Houston because Kingwood is actually in Houston. Most people don't know that, but it is. And it's going to ask me, is this your business? And I can say yes, because it actually is, or no, it doesn't match. So if you're in an office suite, you may have 5 other businesses show up here. You would then pick this doesn't match and then proceed on with it. So what the next step in that process is going to be is they're going to then ask you to decide how you can validate your business. And then let me go to one that's not validated and I'll show you what you got to do. Let's go here. So when you get one that you have to verify, which you do, this one needs to be verified again. So we'll just do this one. They can call the business if they have a valid phone number on file for your business. Some of you don't have a valid phone number attached to your business. And let me talk to you just a little bit about how that has happened and what has happened to get us there. If you had a landline that predated the phone companies turning over and becoming independent phone companies, or prior to the advent of cell phones, and had a hard line that came from a baby bell, chances are Google knows who you are and what your business is and put in there. But what's happened now, because all these phone numbers were released into the system and they weren't really weren't assigned to the actual company they're with. If you get your phone from somebody like Xfinity is not really a phone company. They're a VoIP company. So what they're doing is leasing the phones from Southwestern Bell and providing that number. So there's no telling what the number comes up and who it's going to be. So just understand that you want to make sure that that phone registers back to your business. If it doesn't, you're not going to be able to use that. In this case, this is an old business, so I'm able to use or call that phone number. I also can put in the email address, or I can put in a postcard. 9 out of 10 times you're going to be asked for a postcard. So I have 2 questions that I want to answer, and I'm going to try to answer them as we go now, so that we kind of stay relevant. So the first question says, what if your business is remote? The location is not really important. You still are going to have to put in some manner of an address. And what they've done now is they've gone with service locations. If you can tell me a little bit more, Kim, about what your business is, the location really is kind of important. Like the web hosting company, it's national. The SEO company that I have is local. So I've had to make sure that I be very careful with the web hosting company, because I never really wanted it to pin me into a Houston marketplace, because when people buy web hosting, they buy it from the guy that's on the top of Google. They don't really care where that web hosting company is. So each one of those are going to have to be answered individually. And frankly, if you guys are going to put some questions here, I'm great with that. Kind of tell me what you do so I understand so I can give the best possible advice based on your particular situation. If you are a plumber, the location is important. If you are, I don't know, a CPA, the location may not be important. So it all just kind of depends. Sharita asked if it's only for brick and mortar. The answer is no. Every business, whether you're virtual or not, needs to have this type of account. What I will tell you is Google is not necessarily friendly to businesses that don't have a brick and mortar. They want you and encourage you to use a real address. They're not really key on going and getting a post office box and you using that post office box anymore. So the answer to that is they don't care that you don't have a brick and mortar. This program should be run for everybody. They're just not in favor of businesses because they think that denotes stability. I don't agree with them. Maybe with the whole country working from home, they'll relax on that a little bit. But for right now, we just have to make sure you have a valid address. Next question says, I'm a realtor at Coldwell Banker. how can I have my name in my location? Well, that's an interesting question. As a realtor, you should have your own persona and then that of your agent. And this gets a little bit tricky. I have a lot of realtors that have gone down the HAR road. I am never going to advocate doing that because I don't think that's in these businesses' best interest. What's interesting with this is you could use your office and make yourself be separate. You could you may decide you don't want to be with Caldwell Banker anymore. I would always brand myself as my own person and then worry about it from there. Okay, next person says, what if I'm a mobile DJ? It doesn't matter because unless you're going to go fly all over the country, you need to have a service area and you're going to set that area to be as big and as far out as you want to go. So you're good. Don't worry about that. You just need to come up with a centralized location. And I'm going to talk about that location in just a second. Okay, next person. I love this topic because this is like the thing is when we start down this road, everybody's got questions because it's such a confusing program. So I'm going to try to answer them all. Even if we don't get all the way through this, we can resume it on the next class. I'd rather you all get this right because it's that crucial and critical to every business out there. Notary, do you have to be an entity like an LLC? The answer is 100% no. They're not checking your business name. But what I will tell you is this: if you start your business out and you're a moving and storage company and then want to come back and just be a moving company, they're not going to let you because they're going to say your official name is whatever you named it. So you don't literally need to be a corporation or an LLC to do this. Just make sure that whatever you decide you're going to pick, you stick with. Okay. And we're going to talk about names, addresses, and phone numbers because as antiquated as the concept it's still an important piece of this. Okay, next one says, I'm a photographer without a brick and mortar. So I want to know how to have a service address, but I don't have one. So as I go to my clients' homes, what should I put there? I'm kind of like the plumber. So what I would recommend doing is getting an office space that's like a virtual office space that Google in an office building. They're about $40 a month. You can get mail there. Depends on where you pick them and what part of town you're in. If you want to put yourself in the middle of the Galleria, you're going to pay far more than my $40. But if you don't really care about the quality of the neighborhood, a Class C office building with somebody like Regis is about $40 or $50 a month. And that's well worth the way to get around that. I do want to say something about this too, and then I'm going to answer the next question down. You guys are asking really good questions. This is awesome. Okay, so I try to get an office space as close to the geographic center of the area that you want to be in, because that location is still important. So if I said to you, what is the geographic center of Houston? I know where it is. I don't know if you guys know where it is, but it's basically Texas Avenue. And Google has a real problem with Houston. So if you've ever been to my neck of the woods in New York or New Jersey, you know that you drive for 3 minutes, 2 traffic lights, and you're in another town. And it works. But in a place as big as Harris County, that's 189 square miles, and it takes you an hour and a half to drive around it. Well, that's on a good day. That's a little over ambitious to drive that far. But moral of the story is they don't really necessarily understand it well. So we're gonna talk about how some of the things that we can do to make them understand a little bit better. You need to make sure you kind of pick an area. If you're in Katy, make sure you pick something in Katy. Don't go stick it out at City Center because you're not near the geographic center of Katy. So that's a piece of that. All right. So the next one says, do you have the choice to hide your address when you set it up? Yes, you do have the choice to hide the address and go with the service area. Yes, you can do it. I kind of would shy away from it if you can. I've done it with some of the photographers that we have that I've registered, and they don't come up as well as the ones that have a Regis office with a publishable address, because yet again, there's that implication of whether, are you a real business? Are you not a real business? I just want to be consistent with everything we do. And we're going to talk about some of the attributes to this. So I'm going to tell you, I really would like to see you do something like a Regis office system. Okay, next one says, internet-based computer graphics company and my clients are all over the US. Please advise. Okay, I'm an internet graphics company and I'm all over, my clients are all over the US too. I still have a local address here. What I didn't do is tip the website to a local slant. So when I have a local presence, I have the Google My Business for it. I have it listed in Houston, Texas. I did not add the Hanover, Pennsylvania address to it because I have an office in Hanover, Pennsylvania. What I did is I did not go heavy on the Houston side of this and that particular business. I have stayed away from doing it, but I still only have the knowledge panel long enough to have this. So and this is how I did this, because if I try to pin it in, I'll lose the United States. Now, what I know is I will never in a million years rank on web design in all of the United States. That also I know. So I have to pick and choose what I want to do here. But if you see, I've created this knowledge panel. I have a picture here. I've got my little map here. I've got all my information that's going on here. But if you look at the actual website that's attached to this, you don't ever see, you see an 800 number at the top. You do see the Houston number too, but you don't ever really see anything mentioned anywhere in this text about Houston, about anything. And if you look, even I put our webinars and our classes, I don't say these classes are out of Houston, Texas. Oh, I've shied away from pinning myself in on this website. On the SEO 411 site, however, let me show you this one. The very first word you see is Houston. So it's two completely different approaches based on what I wanted. So put it out there, put it together, but don't weight the website with the words. Okay, so that's the answer to that question. Boy, you guys are going pretty good here. All right, let's see. The next one says, I set up for Houston, Pasadena, and other areas. Okay, I set up for all that too. You have to be really there. You really have to set up for where you are geographically and then go out. They're not going to let you go take on all of Houston. It's just, they just don't allow it. And those searches, and you can see how it functions. Let me show you how it functions. Here, let me do it this way. So I put in urgent care Conroe. And what I have now is 3 urgent care facilities here in Conroe. If I click on this map, it gives me the map, and you'll notice it gives me all the little map dots that are around Conroe. Now, technically, this urgent care, for those of you that aren't really super familiar with this area, the Woodlands is about 10 or 15 minutes apart. So this urgent care actually can service the Woodlands as well. But if I move the map down, you're going to watch, this whole thing is going to change, and look at all the other urgent cares that popped up on that screen. It literally is what they decide the geographic center is based on what you're looking at. And as you move, they update that map. So they don't give you what's going on out here. And if you look, let me pull the camera out here, you'll notice I lost some of these urgent cares up here, and then there's no urgent cares down here. It's almost like they stopped at the county line for the urgent cares. Okay, so this one here, this one has 686 reviews. That's why that one's ranked. Okay, but the rest of all these people are all the north side. And if to look at this map, you would think there's no urgent cares in the whole rest of the city based on this. So understand that whatever you do is really basically geographically based on whatever you're looking for and what you're doing. So just because you set up for Houston, Pasadena, and other areas doesn't mean that you will get those other areas, especially if it's a highly competitive term. So just understand that's a piece of it. Okay, let's see. Anytime mailbox allows you to choose over 9, you can choose a business. They know that anytime mailbox is the difference. The problem is with these, they are now saying you're not allowed to use those type apparatus. So they're not giving them full credit. So if I register a business today at let's say a UPS store, they no longer allow you the right to say that's your actual address, and they come back to you and they say, hey, wait up a minute, that's not a real physical address. They also will do the same thing with the post office. The post office can give street addresses. All of those things go together. So that's why I'm telling you kind of like the right way to do this so that we sort of avoid all these address problems. The best thing you can do is go find a Regis office place or one of the virtual desk work from home, like the Ranch is one, TechSpace is one of those type setups, and go get a virtual desk at some of those places. All right, let's see what the next one says. You guys are doing good. You're killing it. I didn't even get out of the addresses yet. It says, I am sharing a space and address with another business. Will I be able to verify my address? The answer to that is yes. Put -A or -B. So you now should become -B. So I have an office in the Galleria now that I share an office space with another company. They are -A. I am now -B. There's not been any problems with that because they understand that people sometimes have to share office space. And especially now with as crazy as the world is, I can see office space sharing being a really easy thing to do. I'm going to skip over to how to create an knowledge panel, because that's basically, by the time we're done, you will have created the knowledge panel. Okay, it says, how can I use a virtual office address and Google Voice? It says, can you use a Google? Yes, you can do that. But all right, so I have a problem with Google Voice, and this is probably just me being a little conspiratorial in my life. So I don't want Google to know how many people call me. So the second I use Google Voice, they now have an understanding of how much business I'm getting off their search engine. I'm not really thrilled with that, because if they think my business should get, let's say, 1,000 calls a day and I get 10, they may say, well, you're not very good business because you're not getting 1,000 calls a day. They don't look at the other side of that. They're making judgments based on it. So you could never pay me enough money to get a Google Voice number. I did do a seminar that talked about some of the work from home things. I would rather see you use a Grasshopper situation. It's another provider for that. There is a cost to it, but they won't be able to tell what's coming in on your line. There is a insight function within this as we get through this. That insight function will allow for them to track some of your phone call mechanisms. I just am not comfortable to tell anybody to use a service that is trackable, and that inferences can be made about your business without your permission. Okay, this next one says, I work out of my house. Is it possible to transfer the address to a virtual office, and is it recommended? I currently work as a massage therapist. Okay, so if you already have an office, and that office, and they already not acknowledge it, and they've allowed you to do it, I would not screw with the address. And I'm going to tell you why. And you just gave me a really good jump off point to explain some of this. So as you're working towards getting on that map, and you're working to get into Google, let me get back to my Google business page. Excuse me 1 second. I've got it. I kicked myself out somehow. Okay. So here, let me come here. Okay. As I am working to get to get this all filled out, the most important thing that they're looking for is consistency of your name, address, and phone number across the internet. So let me, well, I don't know if I still have. So there's a tool. I have it. I actually have it on my website, but you'll see it over multiple places on the internet that you can scan your address and see what the consistency is. And I'm actually going to use the Houston West Chamber of Commerce because they recently moved and they haven't fixed this yet. And I want to show you, this is what Google's looking at as we do this. So no, I wouldn't change your address if it was like the last thing in the world, if they already had it. So Houston, HWCOC. All right, so this is their new address. I'll put that in here. 42, I think it is. Yep. And there's their phone number. Report. Okay. So when I run this report, what it does is it goes out and it sees how much you match across the internet. So it's going to go out and it's going to scan this entire situation. The reason it's doing this is because Google looks at this and looks for 100% compliance. I'll show you mine in a second after you look at this one and see how bad it is. They want everything to match exactly. And what they're matching it against is the footer of your website. So for those of you that don't have a website, that's really kind of reason to have one, because they're checking it against this as well as checking it against all the data aggregation systems that are out there. Okay. So you really do need to have that listing there. So you see here with them how many inconsistencies and problems that they have throughout this circumstance. So we have Google is right because we were able to fix it, but then Google goes out and looks at all these other places, looks for reviews, looks for whether things are right, looks for whether you have the right name and phone number on things, no listing found, all these ones that are missing are a problem. You can go through all of these and go look at every single one of them and you'll see what's a problem and what's not. This one here has an address that goes way back. So the point of the matter is all of these need to look 100% the same. So let me go and put my address in now. And actually, let me use ACTWD. No, let me use SEF 411. Sorry, I'm trying to type this in as fast as possible so I'm not being boring. All right, so this is going to run that same scan. And I have this all now aggregated to be what I say it to be. So when it's all right, watch it, theirs are all should come up and all say these are all perfect. It's going in and trying to retrieve it all now. So it says it's scanning. We'll see what it does. All right, but the point of the matter is my address matches across the entire internet with my name, my address, and my phone number, and it should be right on every single place. The only thing you're going to see is I'm missing reviews. We're missing reviews on Yelp and a few other places, but otherwise we're in every place that there. So the only thing they're complaining about at me and telling me that I have wrong is no reviews on these places, which, okay, whatever. Don't know that I necessarily care. Okay. But otherwise we have a perfect score because the software that we have has gone through and made it be perfect. So we have it suppressed and it's all working exactly the way it should. So when Google views my business, they say, wow, this matches across the entire internet. We're going to go ahead and give you better credit because you have matching name, address, and phone number. So that's extremely, extremely important, just so you guys all know that. Somebody asked, how can I correct all those scan errors? So this is where this gets a little bit interesting. You can take a service like this, or you can manually go to every one of those websites and submit an update. Now, where they get these from, remember I told you that whole story about the old phone books and the Southwestern Bell phone directories? That's where they're pulling this from. A lot of those data aggregation services don't allow you to have access, but you can always go through and try to make each and every one of them match. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of manpower. It's a lot of hours. And in a lot of cases, it comes bebbling right back up with the wrong information on it. So it's just a lot, roll your sleeves up. It's a lot of work to go do. So there's that piece of it. But your name, address, and phone number should 100% match across the board. Okay, so that's extremely important. The other thing I'm going to say is I'm going to go all the way down to if you are on like West Gray, okay, I could say West Gray as West Gray, W-E-S-T, Gray. I could say West Gray is G-R-A-Y. I could misspell it, and I could say G-R-E-Y. I could say West Gray Street. I could just say West Gray. And in Houston, we have a really bad habit of dropping the roads and the boulevards so it's just Post Oak or Westheimer, or, we don't talk about drives or things like that a lot around here. If you opt to go down the road where you're going to be inconsistent with that, you need to I always say, pick a position and stick with it. So if you're going to list yourself as on West Gray and never put the word street after it, then make sure you never put the word street after it. It's literally has to be that precise. So name, address, and phone number 100% of the time need to match across the board, and they need to match across the board exactly with your website. So you look and see what I have, the sync listings. I have the links matching. And if you come all the way to the footer of my website, here's the Galleria office sitting down here with the right information on it. Okay. And we have the two offices. I put them there. That way, if you look at the hosting company, you're going to notice what I did interestingly on this one. If you come all the way to the bottom, our corporate office is in Hanover, Pennsylvania. I also have our one here in Houston. So I have both of them listed. They need to be there. They need to be consistent. If you notice, I put the consistency. I use the 800 number as my phone number because for the first 15 years of our business, you had to have a 800 number. People didn't consider you to be valid. Now it kind of bothers me, and I keep trying to hide the darn thing, but that hiding is not working so well. I can't tell you how many people keep calling that number instead of going and bypassing and going to the local number. So this footer needs to be a site-wide footer like this. It needs to be exactly like I have it. And then it needs to match across the internet. So that's the very first most important thing that you can do. The other thing is, and let me come over here. If you notice, I'm sending a signal to Google that I'm in Houston simply by the title tag on this page. So I am using my area. So if you're in Montrose and you're a hair salon in Montrose, please put hair salon Montrose. Don't put serving all of Houston, because then you're back in a 189 square mile conundrum. Put where you are and what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's a very important little concept we have going on here. Okay, so come back to the Google main panel here. So are we overall, we got all the questions answered on the first go round of this? We're good on that? I guess. Okay. So, all right. So the next thing I want to go down is how to fill this section in. Now, the person that asked the knowledge panel, there's two parts to this. I'm going to try to get to the second part tonight. I don't know if I will. Okay. The first part is this, what you're looking at here. And this is an extremely important function, and we're going to try to go through all of this and make sure that we have this up here and we have this running right. So we're going to go, the next place that you want to go is you want to go to the info section of this. And this is for SEO 411. So if you notice, the first thing that you ask is the name of your business. The name of my business is SEO 411 LLC. Notice I dropped the LLC. It doesn't play well. I don't really like putting it out there. And I've been very careful with what I've done on that. The categories are important, okay? Try to get as many as 10 categories in there as if you can. That's an extremely important function of this. If you can do it, great. If you can't, don't spam it in there. So if I have any lawyers in the room, the lawyers would need to go in, and let's take a divorce lawyer for a second. You would have family law, you might have child custody, you would have divorce, you may have just the general word attorney. You may, if you did adoptions, you may put adoptions in there. If you did will services, you could put will services in there. Whatever the function are, but do not go beyond your scope. So I just set the deck and said divorce lawyer. What I wouldn't do is say divorce lawyer, personal injury lawyer, probate lawyer, traffic ticket lawyer. It's just, don't do that. You are what you are. Don't try to go out crazy and do 8 other things that you shouldn't do. Okay, so that's that story. Make sure that you have all this kind of stuff going in the right direction. And make sure you fill in as many as you can. If you notice, I don't have anything more here because I didn't want to put anything here that would dilute these. These are my bread and butter. I didn't want to do anything that was going to make it be any more complicated than what this is. Just so you are understanding that why I'm saying to you, some places maybe 10 and others of you maybe 2. Let me see if I can get into another account here. See this one here? If you look at this one here, he only does criminal justice, trial attorney, driver's license, traffic ticket, that kind of stuff. So we really kind of kept his augmented and didn't go too crazy on his. I actually probably could add DWI to, in fact, I'm going to. Let me see if I can put that in. No, I didn't. It doesn't, it won't allow it. So that's traffic. No, see, the thing is, what you notice what it's doing is that's probably why they're not here. If you notice that those things don't exist, those niches, so I can't go all the way down to them. So we're just going to leave this criminal justice, trial lawyer, and a driver's license because that's what he does. So again, I'm not over servicing something by putting too many subtopics and subcategories in there, trying to push this along. Okay, so somebody asked me why I left the LLC out. I just realized that showed up, and if I didn't answer that before, I will tell you that I work for State Farm in a different lifetime. I'm never going to tell anybody what my structure is, or broadcast that I'm a limited liability corporation, or try to let them know what protections we have. And I would advise everybody else to take the same approach. The less you can tell somebody, the less likely you're going to be to have a liability problem. So just, I stand down on that all the way. I thought that was a new question, but it's really not. At least I don't think it is. No. Okay. It's not a new question, but I just saw that. So I apologize for not answering that one sooner. All right. So I filled out my name here, and let me go back to my own company here so I'm not messing around on somebody else's. You see, I have these here. I don't think social media works. Yeah, see, if you put in social media, there is no such thing as a social media category. So that's why there's no social media. If I put in paid, pay per click. See, there's no, these are services we offer, but there's not really any categories there to accommodate them. So I'd rather stand down than go crazy and put the wrong thing there. So just so you know that part. The next thing, if you notice, I have my address, and this actually should say Houston. I haven't been in this set of the profile for a long time. I actually managed this one out of over here now. I'm able to have it in multiple accounts. So, and then you'll notice, so let's use my live one that actually is working right, that nobody is in anymore. Let's close out of that one. Okay, let's use this one. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, so I stopped screen sharing. Let me come back 1 second here. Sorry about that. Let me see if it comes back. All right, there it's back. I'm sorry about that. It shut off there for a second. Okay, so, all right, let's see. We got a little another question rolling in here. Okay, this one says, how do you add a by appointment only for hours? I would never do that. So I don't know that I know the answer, but let's see if we can figure it out. Because you know what? I don't mean to be, am I in the right one? Let's come back to SEO 411. I'll tell you why I wouldn't do that. Sorry about that. I want to make sure I'm in one that's actually filled out right. I worry about what you are conveying to somebody by telling them that you don't have, you're by appointment only. I worry about how that is taken, and what the inference about your business is. I would almost rather see you have a normal set of hours and send it to an answering service and then do it that way than to go put in, but that's just me. I think if you go to info here, let's go here and see on the hours. You know, you don't have to put any hours in either. I will say you could just leave it blank. Maybe that's the best way to do that for you, is to leave it blank. I'm gonna put it that way. You know what? I realize why it's doing this now. I'm so sorry. I just realized it's putting these questions out of order at me. So that's why I'm not seeing that we have some new ones. So I apologize for that. Okay. All right. Service area for SEO 411. I put in Houston, Texas. I may say the Woodlands. Okay. Because that takes me to a different service area. I'm actually going to keep this Houston, Texas, and not really bother with it, and because we'll go anywhere. With the plumber, we can go like zip codes and draw out what is the area that we want to cover. Google understands that you are not, as a plumber, going to drive 50 to 100 miles to go somewhere. So be honest, because I don't want them to disqualify you just because you're kind of saying, stuff, and you then have to prove it. Fill your hours in. Any special hours that you have, you can put them up here. So like this was for Good Friday. We actually said we were open on Good Friday. First time that because of this pandemic, we decided to open. Put your phone number in, make sure that's a phone number that is consistent across all your material. And then the next one down is profile short name. Make sure you put your business short name there and you create a good short name profile for yourself. The reason that that is going to help is because it will actually help with the review links. So just make sure that you actually put that one there so that you actually know that it's there. So this person says, what if you do remote training as well? I'm an English pronunciation coach. I have really bad pronunciation, just saying. But an online course creator. So I kind of have online and remote classes too. What I do is twofold. One is if you come back to the website, I have all my class schedule up here. And you'll notice that we have the whole class schedule here with our information so that the people know where I am, what I'm doing, what our process is, and where we're going and what we're doing. Okay. We have, I actually made a whole page of this, including any of the video archives and stuff we did. So I created that piece. I do remote training. Basically, I mean, I understand I'm sitting in my house tonight. But yeah, we kind of do that same thing. And oh, by the way, I just saw the person's name, and Donna, I hope you're doing okay. I've known Donna. She's come to these classes on and off through the years now for almost probably 5 or 6 years. So that's good to see you here, even if it's virtual. The other thing is if you're at home and being an online course creator, but put a calendar on your website. This comes back to having a website. Google looks at all of this and they see this. So they fill in the event section and they use some code to make the events. And I'll get to that code here in just a minute so you understand what we're talking about. But let me come back over here a second. I also went far as putting an online booking agent inside my website. So I made sure that I put up an online appointments booking section that they can go in and do whatever they need to do. Okay. So the next thing is products. So I don't know if I have my little yoga friend here, Nancy, but she has a yoga studio. So she's got services because she has a yoga studio. And she also has products because she sells yoga mats. SEO 411 only has services, okay? So what I did is I created our services based on what we had. So I put in four categories here and listed them out and then put sub-services underneath them so that you can see. So I can say under web design, I can say application development, I can say website design, I can add a custom service, and let's say I want to say WordPress web design, and I'm going to go ahead and add that one. So it's going to add that in. Maybe it'll add it in, but you see how we have it. So we have application development and WordPress under our website designer. Here I may say, so I'm going to say technical support we offer email services. I'm going to add another customer. I'm going to say we add Office 365 email. And we also offer cloud hosting, dedicated. And last but not least, Word managed WordPress hosting. Okay, so we go ahead and we add them all here. And now I have a full list of web hosting supports things that we, services that we also offer through that. This needs social media. No, we don't offer telemarketing, but we do offer social media. So make sure you take the time to build this all out. It's really kind of important because you're telling Google what you do. So you're defining your business basically based on what you're doing. Okay, so we got another question here. It says, if you have a single company that provides different services, can you create different? No, absolutely 100% do not do that. If you have a single company, you have a single company, and then put them together, just like this one. Theoretically, SEO 411 does marketing, ACTWD does web hosting. I actually put them both together, but I put a an emphasis rather on what they do. I understand I have two companies, but there's a whole long management and ownership issue as to why there's two companies. It's not because I've created two just to have two arms of this business. We had different ownerships at one time. In fact, frankly, there is still some slight ownership differences between these two companies at this point. So please just make one website and then bust them into channels. And I'll show you. This one's probably the best. This basically is a street map to do it, because I have a web hosting company, a web design company, and a digital marketing company all running under the same website. So you just have to be very careful and make sure that you set it up right and properly so we know how to do that. Okay, next one says, does a business short name have to be your business name or but abbreviated? Or can you tell me to put the whole name in? Mine is 4 words, not short. Well, what are the 4 words, Catherine? If you can just type another question there and put it there, that would be helpful to me. Because I might say I would put all 4 words there for the brand end of it. In fact, anybody that we've done pretty much the Discovery School of Innovation. Yeah, I would put that all there. It's all going to make you run it all together, but nobody calls you DSI, do they? So if they don't call you DSI, don't make yourself DSI. Your Discovery School of Innovation, that's your brand, use it. And that's what it's like I said, it's going to run it all together, but yeah, that's what I would use, the whole thing all together. That would be my answer to that one. Okay, so let's come back over to our thingy here, wherever it might be. I lost my window. I'm sorry. Okay, so I have filled in all my services. Okay, home. Let's go back to the home section here. Let's see if I get back to info. All right, I got my EBLA, I got my services. Highlights, okay? Make sure if you're a women-owned business, you put that there. If you're a vet-owned business, you put that there. If you're, whatever they allow you to do, put that in there, because that's very important that you show up with whatever certifications that you have. The world is basically looking for those certifications anyway, and they're giving extra credit to those places. So if you qualify, do that. Okay, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. All right, so the person that said, how much do I charge? Call me tomorrow and I'll talk to you about that. All right, I don't see a services section. It is under info. And then you should have products and services right here underneath that. So you have to pick whether you have products and services, and it should say products, and the services should say the same thing. So this is where you would put either one of those answers. Okay, so that's what I would put there for both of those. Now, did you find it yet? If you want to let me know, I'd kind of appreciate that. All right, so the next question, or the next piece of this is, I want you to be very careful with how you write this next section, because I want you to make sure that you utilize proper keywords and terms for what you do. It's extremely important that this be written right, but you don't want to keyword stuff it. So what you don't want to say is, I am a web designer and design websites in Houston, Texas, where I design websites for people that live in Houston, Texas. I don't want to say something like that. I want to be very, very, very pointed in my questions, in my write-up. Accessibility. Sorry, the person said his is going right to accessibility. Do you have, are you like something that it doesn't know what, it knows what you do? Like, are you, what is your profession, if you don't mind me asking, so I can better see what that is? Just type it as another question if you don't mind. But if you notice what we have, here's what we do. Our services include, this is what we do with this. And we kind of come through and wrote everything in that we did, and we put them all in there. So that we do fire. That's why you have a problem, because they're not gonna, they know what that is, and they're not gonna allow you to put products or services down for that. They don't like people that sell firearms. So, and that's not me. It's not my rule. That's not my opinion, but I'm just telling you, that's why they're not going to allow you to do something that's going to put that out there. Because they understand probably what that business is doing, which is why they're not allowing it. Sorry about that. It's Google's world. We just live in it. Okay. And then last but not least, make sure you put the date that your business opened. I'm going to tell you to add photos. And one of the things that I'm going to tell you to add photos, when you add them, I want to explain to you about what we're doing. If you notice, I have like lots of photos up here of places I've done and classes I've taught. And in fact, I probably have more to add. What is interesting about this, and this is why I want you to understand, I run around and take a lot of pictures. What I have is the location services turned on my phone. And when I do, they know where I am. So when I post this picture and I put it up here, Google understands that I'm in Houston because these pictures are in Houston, and they're very much scattered out there and put out there. So I'll tell you, this was taken at City Center. This was taken at the Galleria. This was taken out at BBL Italian, all the way out almost to Katy. This was taken in front of Sandra's office. This is some skyscrapers downtown. This was taken at the Westin Galleria. The fact that I did this, what I am telling Google is that I am in Houston. I am always in Houston. Wherever I go is in Houston. And my pictures seem to traverse certain areas of where I am and what I'm doing. If you look at, and I'm going to tell you a story, this is like a real life story I'm going to tell you here. If you come here. So I opened the Galleria office on January 1st. I decided I was going to go ahead and do this. So I went ahead and did it. So I put this all in here, and Google kind of was not acting like they believed me that this was a real office. And it really is. I have my office, I have my desk, I got my little sign on the wall, I got the whole deal, right? So what I had to do is I came here, and if you notice, the pictures on this particular company are a little bit different. So let me tell you what these are, and I'll tell you why I put them there. This is Tech Space at Briar Forest. This is out at Willcrest. This is in that office. We were doing a interview, and we were interviewing somebody, and we had everybody on the computer there in little bubbles. And I put that one up. But what was the linchpin to this? And this is the picture of the outside of that business. But what ended up happening is, the second I put these two pictures up, these were taken 3 blocks from the office at a networking event that we went. Google finally got it. They were like, oh, wait, I've got like 4 pictures now that are on Woodway. I guess you actually are on Woodway, because these pictures really were coming from exactly where you say your office is. So I purposely put these pictures up there knowing that they were taken places. By the way, this is our night class here with everybody with their arm up. I think Sandra actually took that picture. But we went through, and I made sure that the pictures that I put up were related or around. You notice there's no pictures of Kingwood at all, other than my little guy Harley here. He's just our little mascot guy. So he's the only guy in Kingwood. The rest of everybody is at the between, I guess, Briar Forest and the Beltway, all the way down to Woodway. So I set a boundary with these pictures. So what I'm saying to you guys is make sure you go through your camera. If you have pictures of your business where you want to do business, put those pictures on the internet, especially if you have the location services on your phone turned on. That's a really important piece of this. All right, so we're back. We got a couple questions again. Let's see what these questions say. Is there a way to contact somebody, an internet person, IT appeared, who entered the Google review that was less than a 5 and did a 3, but had no intonation? No, there's no way to do that. Is there a way to contact the person that was shown as doing this, or is this just forever a secret? Well, first of all, it's forever a secret. Second of all, it's a real pain in the neck. And third of all, I answer them, okay? So my web hosting company has been in business 22 years now. And everybody that knows me knows that I am extremely honest and forthright, probably to a fault. And when I say something, I say it, and that's the answer. So about 6 years ago, I had somebody come in and put a review up saying that I was probably one of the meanest person they ever had talked to. And they're right, they were, because they were trying to break into an account that wasn't theirs. So what I did, because they wouldn't take it down, and they didn't put it even under a name. I knew who did it, but they wouldn't even taken it down. So I could have gone and sued the person. I could have gone and made a whole big commotion. I said, instead of that, what I'm going to rather do is I went in and put a statement that basically said, hey, you were trying to get into something that you weren't supposed to, and trying to basically lie your way to get into somebody else's account. So therefore, we were doing what was in the customer's best interest, and that's it. So anybody that doesn't understand that explanation, it is what it is. Now, the person that gave you a 3 with no explanation, I might say, hi, I'm not sure that I've ever met you before, but if you let us know what was bad about our service, we'll go ahead and get that fixed now. And I have done that. And if every review that I have, I go in and actually make a positive reply to, and I use them, and I encourage everybody to do this as a public relations opportunity. So I had one person say, oh, we tried to call you and you didn't answer the phone. Well, you have my personal cell phone, so I don't know why you're running around Google saying nobody answered you. When you knew darn well you could pick up. And I actually answered the reply that way. They said, hi, known you 18 years. You know that you have my personal cell phone. I'm not sure what you're upset about, but we have your issue fixed. So anybody that comes behind that and reads that, they're like, okay, I don't understand why this guy was upset. So that's the way you have to think of these reviews. You're not really answering the person that left it. You're answering the person that may read it and not infer it properly. So that's how I would go ahead and fix those ones that are out there, because I think that's probably the better way to address that. Okay. My business was registered in 20, but didn't actually start working to 16. Oh, this is okay. All right. I'm going to answer it this way. So this is going to be you're going to have to figure out your own answer on this one. If you did a registered trademark, the Trademark and Patent Office would go back to 2010, because that's when you registered it. So that's technically when it was first used in business. So you take that for what you feel comfortable with. So my answer would be put 2010. You want to show that you're an established business, not that you just woke up. So this one, the next one is my friend Donna again. She says, are you saying to post photos on Google My Business or Facebook? No, I'm saying they have to be posted in Google My Business. I am not, this is the only thing I'm talking about tonight is Google My Business, not in Facebook. When you put pictures up in Facebook, Google knows nothing about them because they don't have your login and they can't actually see them. But what Google's doing with this Google My Business is basically building a social network of business stuff, and they're encouraging you to put your pictures up because, like, let's say I wanted to say, I do business in New Orleans, okay? Now, I had customers in New Orleans, but say I wanted to say I do business in New Orleans. it's going to be a really hard argument to make with Google that I do business in New Orleans when I've not been to New Orleans. My phone has not been to New Orleans. I have no reviews in New Orleans. I have no pictures from New Orleans, but yet I'm saying I'm in New Orleans. They basically know where you are and coming back and interacting with that. This is a way to validate that. They're taking the metadata off these pictures and using them as a way to validate that you are the way where you actually say you are. So, but it doesn't have anything to do specifically with Facebook. So this next one says, is there a way to contact Google directly and ask them about your website's ranking in Google profiles? The short answer is no. The thing is that Google's attitude towards this is their search engine and their interaction with this is free of charge. And if you want your website to appear on their search engine, they have a paid for program that's called Google AdWords. So how your website ranks and how your Google My Business profile is no bearing on them whatsoever. So in part, that's why we teach this class, and I've been teaching it, since 2003, because there is no way for the little guy to get help. There is no way for the little guy to know all the things that are in my head. So that's kind of why we've been out here teaching this all these years, because you guys need that advantage probably more than the people that have the deep pockets that could hire somebody that knows the answer. But no, they will not. I'll say it this way. I had one customer that got banned from Google. And he called me and he said, I'm banned from Google. And I said, well, what did you do? And he explained it to me. And I was like, yep. He said, but I'm going to call him on the phone. And I kind of chuckled, and I probably shouldn't have, because he actually sold his company to DirecTV and it became DirecTV. So as you can tell by that statement, the guy had really deep pockets. If you have really deep pockets, you might be able to talk somebody. They're never going to tell you how to rank your website. They put out a 146-page user guide that tells you what the best practices are. And if you contact me, I'll get you a link to the Google guidelines. It's a 146-page document that explains how your website ranks. The reality of this is, like, there's probably 10 things that if you did right in most circumstances, your website would rank. There's probably another 30 to 40 things that if you did them right in a more competitive environment, that would bring you up properly. I try to give you guys the tools to, if you do what I'm saying, your website will start to come in. And I had a lady, and I can't see who's in the room. So if you're here, I apologize. I don't mean this, but I had a lady, she came in, she told me blow bar. She went in, she went home and she made the changes that I told them to go make. And the next time I saw her, she told me that she's now sitting in the #1 spot for her area for her blow bar, because basically I'm telling you how to do things right. Even if you do a fraction of what I'm saying right, chances are the people in your space, unless you're a lawyer or an accountant or a dentist, chances are that you're not going to have enough competition that if you just do what I'm telling you, it's going to fix it. Hello, Ms. Plowden. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you, and thank you for coming in. Will you do me a favor and send me those photos, and I will go ahead and get them added for you. And by the way, I made a whole bunch of adjustments on your website on Monday. Today is on Thursday or Wednesday. So we should start to see some of that take effect. But I went ahead and made a whole bunch of changes for your stuff. But yeah, just send them to me directly, and I'll go ahead and decide what I want to do with them and make sure they're put up the way they want to be. So that's that.
Beth, though, can you answer that question that she asked about?
Yeah, her question said, should I have professional photography photos taken? Should I put up the photos? I need her to send them to me so I can go see if there's metadata on those photos. So we can put them up because they look nice, but the chances are if they were taken by a professional photographer with a camera, the metadata is not on the files. So I'm going to see if I'm going to see if I can hack the files and put the metadata on them. If we must all. So, but that's because, that's me. I know how to do that crazy stuff. So I do that crazy stuff from time to time. Anyway. All right. Let's see. So we've come down. We all know we went
Just
all
to
the way.
clarify, Beth, so what that means then is that the pictures you're taking with your phone, because they have metadata on them, are more effective.
Yeah, that's exactly why I said take them with your phone with location services on, and I didn't say take them any other way. She's just saying she had them taken professionally. So what I'm wondering is that I'm sure that they took them with a 35 millimeter, digital camera, and as a result, the metadata is not on those files. The location services are not on. Now, I have a Canon EOS that will put that metadata on if I turn it on and connect it and pair it. But I have to actually think about, I want to do it. So again, it's a really complicated thing in the sense that I'm going to say no. Chances are those pictures don't have the metadata on them that it needs to have. So, that's why I'm telling her to send them to me, and I'll just fix them for her because it's going to be easier.
I think that's really interesting that your amateur pictures that you're taking, if you take them well, are actually going to help you more than the professional photographer pictures.
Well, so here's the thing. Google is always looking to how to beat somebody like me, okay? So as I know how to do something, that means that I know how to jimmy the locks on their system to make their system work the way I want it to work. So first it was name, address, and phone number. And then people were kind of messing around with that. Then it became, well, go put reviews up. So the people with the most reviews. So what everybody did was go hire somebody and have them go, I'll put reviews up. I'm going to address reviews. Don't anybody go do that. Okay. So as they've gotten more sophisticated, people like me come back and know how to adapt our campaigns to fit within their box and do it to the nth degree. So by using the metadata on the phones, 9 times out of 10, the person's going to have the right answer. But at the same time, just like I said, I know how to edit those, basically hack those files, put the metadata in that I want, and send them up corrected. Now, does everybody in America have that skill set? No. Most of you will do what normal people do, which is take a picture and upload it with your cell phone, and that'll be the end of it, never suspecting that they're tracking the metadata that's in the background of that picture. So I hope everybody's understanding what I'm saying, and I'm not really doing anything wrong. It's just that you want metadata on the picture, and I have a picture with no metadata, so it would only seem to imply that I should alter the metadata because you want the metadata on the picture. I understand that I'm twisting that slightly, but I don't, it just is what it is. I don't, that's the way you play this game. I'm going to tell you all another secret here in just a second. And actually, there's a few things that if I'm telling you tonight, if you actually went home and did, it's going to be a victory for you. Somebody just says to me, I keep getting phone calls from Google saying my business is not validated when I know that it is. I think they're trying to make me buy Google ads. Can that in fact influence how my business account is seen? Okay, so to hear Google, yes, they are calling you to get you to buy ads. It is a scam, and no, I would tell you not to do that, okay? So don't get involved. In fact, somebody says, hi, I'm calling from Google. I hang up because chances 9 times out of 10, it's not a good phone call. But what I will say is, can an ad influence you? The interesting answer to that is if you ask Google that question, they have their organic building, which is the search results, and then they have their paid search building. They're 2 separate buildings on 2 separate campuses, and those people are not supposed to talk to each other. So they have tried to give every appearance of having two separate places. The thing is that the presence of that ad, there's some things that happen to an ad that create a behavior that may be more favorable to organic. If you have $6,000 to $10,000 a month to spend, then I would say, yes, you can influence how your business is seen and how Google views that business. But if you only have a couple $100, those things should not even fit in your head together. Okay. Because it really is, if I'm lens.com, lens, 1-800-lenses, and I spend $1 million a month on pay-per-click, chances are I'm going to have enough click-through rates and there's some things that are going to go up. I'm going to have some brand recognition that much investment in my business is going to drive up other signals and help you. I'm going to tell you that anybody in Google would completely and emphatically deny what I just said. They would say, I don't know what I'm talking about. That I'm not right. I'm here to tell you that I've had large ad campaigns, and a lot of good things happen with the large ad campaigns on. When you don't have the large ad campaigns, those things started to fall off and fall away by the wayside. So just take that from where it comes, and that's a big thing. So I'm going to say the most politically correct answer is no, buying ads does not affect your placement. That's the politically correct answer. That's not the tinfoil hat answer. So, okay, it says, I couldn't create a profile short name. Could you give me more information? Put it all together, no spaces. That would be that's usually why I see it can't be done, or that profile name already exists. So let's say you were trying to create a profile name of Smith. Chances are Smith is already taken up by 3 other things. So try to be unique in that, or put a number. They also may have offered you a suggestion. So take up their suggestion if you see one too, if you can do that also. All right. I'm going to tackle reviews now because I think if I had to guess, there's a lot of you have a lot of review questions. So reviews are sort of tricky. You realistically should not be seeking reviews or soliciting reviews. You should not be paying for reviews. People should do reviews because they want to help your business and they're magnanimous. With that said, we always are asking for reviews. I probably talk to 50 people a day, and out of that, so over the course of a week, that's what, about 200 people a week we talk to, easy. I maybe have one person say, hey, you've been really helpful. Can we leave you a good review? Very rarely. What I now find myself doing is they say, hey, you're great. We're so happy we can work with you. I then go ask them to go out and put that out on Google for me. But what I've asked them to do is make sure when they put something down that they say what I did. Don't just say, hey, Beth's the nicest person in the world. Because really, they're not reviewing me. They need to say, they built me the best, they did the best web design in Houston. They worked really hard and their SEO service is second to none. I have a dentist that I actually wrote a script for that tried to say, where did you perform the service? What service did you get? Because just saying Erica is the sweetest dental hygienist ever doesn't help. They're actually looking in the guts of those reviews now to see what words are in there and what words match. So when I've asked people to write reviews for me now and ask somebody to review, I ask them to be very specific so that they can come back in and help me actually rank. So people will say things like SEO services now, or I've been hosting my website with your company for 15 years. I try to make sure that I get real detailed information about the services I get, and I lead them to that. I don't say to them, hey, could you write me a review and make sure you use keywords? I kind of go back and say, hey, if you're happy with what we did here, could you please go leave a review and talk about our service or our registration service or our hosting account or what we helped you with? And that's very, 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 very important. Almost as much as important as the picture trick is what the actual guts of the review say. So let me go here. All right, so if you see here, he's got SEO mixed in here. He's got business working in here. He's got web development worked in here, because what he's doing is helping. He heard me make this speech and went ahead and put out there keywords in our information that would help us. Got another one here. If you notice, we got WordPress, we've got SEO, we've got web development. So we've got multiple. So what I'm doing is basically having Google understand what services we do. And I'm going to highly recommend every single one of you make sure that you try to curate your reviews in a way that helps provide solid information on what was done. So let me do it this way. And I'm going to show you a bad one, just for the sake to show you a bad one. I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. And I don't mean a bad review, but I know the person that wrote it meant well when he wrote it. And the little staff person that they wrote it about still has to tell everybody in the company that she got such a good review because he put her name in there and she got a 5-star review. Except the only problem is that doesn't really say what we do in here. She answers questions. She talked about that says a web page, but nowhere does it really say what we did for this gentleman. So although this is a great review and I really appreciate him doing this for us and naming Sarah and everything else, at the end of the day, it's not broadcasting as much as I would like for it to say what we've been doing and what we're not doing. And that's really important. That's really very, very important that you get that. So work really hard with the people when they're giving you reviews so that you can get the information curated so you have the right keywords and the right tone and tenor up there. And it's not just Erica is very happy and a good, I went to see the dentist and they did a root canal and their staff is so happy that although I hurt from my root canal, I'm still thrilled that I went to the dentist. You know, that's a good review. Okay. So we have this person here. It says, please help, please. I have an event planning company. I have major concerns. I find that my competitors are putting out negative reviews on their company so they can have access to more business. How do I handle that? Well, first of all, when you see that, I guess the first question I have is, how do you know it's your competitors doing it? If you've never worked with that customer, I might come back in and say, hi, I don't remember you. I don't have somebody that matches your name in my customer database. Basically, the person that reads the review is going to go, well, here, I guess that's a fake review because it's not having accurate information. You can try to flag it and tell Google it's a fake review. Chances are Google's going to ignore you because they love bad reviews and they hate. They really don't, the good reviews, they don't really, I don't want to say they don't like them, but it's all about because they think they're saving the world from bad people. if you think about it, who does reviews? People who do reviews are the people that are mad about something. So that's why you have to work really hard and diligently. The other thing I would do is make sure that all the people that you're presently doing business with, that you go ahead and fix it, make sure you try to get a review out of them or somehow incentivize that, so you can offset the bad review, especially if it's a competitor doing that. I mean, I probably would need to see a little bit more detail on that to better answer that, but basically go answer the review. Thank you for putting this review. Appreciate your feedback. I don't show that you've ever done business with my company. That pretty much is a very unassuming way to basically tell them and call a foul on that person, if you will. So that's a big deal. What I don't want you to do is go and get reviews on Fiverr. I don't want you to hire your neighbor, get your cousin, review your own business as if it's not you. Let me go see if this one. I have a customer that I got a notice saying there was a new review, and he went and reviewed his own business as if he was a third party, and he used a different name as if he was a different person, as if Google's not going to know he's the owner of the account. They know your cell phone. They know your computer address. They know where you are. They know what you're logged in on. There is so much back information now on everybody that you can't go do things like that anymore. I've seen people go, oh, this guy, he's done great. He's been doing this, working with me for years. The guy's been in business for 3 days. So how are they working with you for years? Want to enlighten us? Google knows that. If you say you just opened your business in 2020 and you have somebody post a review that says, I've been with this company for 15 years, they know that's not a right review. So don't lie. Don't make stuff up. Roll your sleeves up and do the hard work and get the stuff up there. Now, David brings up a good point. He said, my rater is a serial rater per my partner, and we can't figure out how to fix this. She apparently rates hundreds and gives out threes. If she really is a serial rater like that, then the chances are they know that. I would just flag it. Flag it as inappropriate and tell Google that that's not a person you did business with. If what you're saying is right, then their name, they may never take it down. I would just go make sure I got good reviews to offset that. Nobody has a 5-star review every day of the week. No real good established business does. Now, I have a 5-star review here, mostly because I have corporate clients and never started asking people for reviews until recently. In the first 15 years I did this, I never once asked anybody for a review because I figured you guys are professional companies. Why would I ever go ask you to do something like that? So, I've only recently, that's the only reason I have an 8. I'm sure somewhere somebody I made mad. I mean, if you go look at the hosting company, it's been around 20 years. I got 3 mad people over there because I wasn't nice. I didn't call them back. I don't know. There's a couple out there, but I mean, in 3 bad reviews in 22 years, I'm okay with. So, don't sweat the small stuff. Go get somebody to offset that and fix that. I mean, it's probably not the answer you want me to give, but that's the way I would do it. Okay, so somebody said, please provide a few more rebuttals on how to respond to negative when. So this becomes an exercise in responding to somebody, not for the current person, but the future person. So let me go up here to family first, because this one, they have an interesting problem, and I'm gonna kind of put this out here for this. They're awesome people. These women are fantastic, but they get a lot of people that go through there, the doctor shop. Now, I don't know if I need to fill in the blanks of that. Okay. But they come in and they basically are somewhat doctor shopping. So we've got, you know, a whole bunch here, but every bad one we go in, and if you can read this, you'll start to see what I'm saying. They were nice but slow, came in with a hurt ankle, can't walk. They took an x-ray. They said it wasn't broken. I knew it wasn't broken. It was a time, what they were looking for was a painkiller. Okay. So we wrote back and we said, you know, thank you for your comments. Your soft tissue injuries can be complicated and fall outside the scope of an urgent care. So instead of saying, hi, we understand you were looking for pain meds and we treated it accordingly, we kind of flipped the script that anybody that read this would understand that, you know, this is the circumstance. I find this to kind of be interesting when you see things like this go on. Here's another one. Again, didn't prescribe me this, didn't do this, didn't give me this, didn't like how you build, blah, 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 blah. We've kind of gone in and made sure that they were either fixed. We came back, we answered them. But if you notice, there's thematically, and I'm trying to find another one. Here's another one. Thank you for your feedback. We work hard to make sure our staff is respectful, and this is unusual. We invite you to call our office and speak to the manager so we can better understand your circumstances. Again, what are you doing? Why are you saying this? Why is this out there like this? And I'm answering these, and we're answering these. We kind of answer them together because I kind of craft them and they clean them up medically for me. We try to come in and we try to address them, every single one of them, to try to say what we wanted to do. I'm going to tell you, and I will show you this one just because this one, and it bothers me, to be honest with you, this one really bothers me. This is my own, and I want to show you what happened with it. So Google stuck it right here. Okay. And they did it here because they said it was Yelp, and we have complained to them. We've asked for them to take it down. We've had people from the University of Houston come in and say, you know, that we're like awesome people. We've had multiple, they've hidden the good reviews about our company and continue to only show this one. And I can pay them a lot of money and it's the only way they'll take it down. But I kind of left this one, and I wanted you to see what I wrote back, because they were, you know, I'm difficult, I'm this, I'm rude, doesn't know how my staff stays, you know, all of that. Great. So I came back and I finally said, I've decided to answer this because this review was posted by a family member of our client, not the client. The young lady wasn't the account holder. She was very upset and extremely aggressive. And when I had to decline to help her. So the thing is that I went in and I explained it in a way that basically said, and I went after speaking to her father, that again, that kind of showed that that person was a younger person and not a mature person that was calling on the phone, and that just went and left this child this review. So if you can spin it around and basically be the queen of passive aggressive, if you look at any bad one on my company, you will see that they have been written basically to offset. Here, this guy here, this was a good one. This guy came in and said that we're very slow in getting to his issues and getting his website updated. So I've said, thank you for your update. We've been doing this free of charge. If you would like, basically, if you want to pay me to do the thing, things would be a lot faster. Never answered us, never came back, never anything, but it quieted it down because we're always happy to help, but I always have to put a paying customer first. So somebody that reads that would better understand what happened and what that was. So it basically offsets, those two ends up offsetting each other just simply because of how I'm approaching it. So I'm hoping it's an art form to be able to do this politely and not just tell somebody, you know, this is like, you're wrong, you're lying. And, frankly, you're causing your own problems. So, you know, there's always a passive aggressive way to do this and figure out what the person, anybody that's ever usually has a problem with me, the only reason they have a problem is because they've caused the problem. I don't know how else to say that, but you can't really kind of go back at somebody that way. So just, I hope that gives you some real good, solid ideas. If you go through the reviews and you can see, you'll see what we've done and how I've answered them and how I've tried to creatively explain what's happened in a way. Here, this person, you know, we had a server, we had something go down. This is like from 3 years ago. But anyway, we had very little time. I think in the 17 years that you've been here, we've always tried to answer you, and you have my cell phone. So you've been here 17 years. What are you complaining about? So that's the thing. So this guy that's complaining, he's actually still with me, and we're now on 17, 18, 19, 20 years. So it was so tragic that you had to go put a 1, and yet, so that's where and I actually signed my own name so people knew I was actually the one that answered it. So, you know, that's how I do it. And it seems to work effectively. I've never really had somebody come back at me and say, oh no, we're going to go by these reviews, because anybody knows me and can see really what we do here. So that's that story. Okay, how do you list a business that's a parent company with a DBA offering a different service? I love these questions. So what's the parent company like? Is the parent company Kentucky Fried Chicken and Pepsi, or is it? I need a little bit more information on that, because Kentucky Fried Chicken is its own company and it sells chicken, and what's the other one? Long John Silver's, they sell fish, and Taco Bell, I was right with the Taco Bell sells tacos. So they have 3 different sets of profiles because they are 3 separate businesses all owned by PepsiCo. So I need a little bit more information to be able to, DBA is in online sales. Parent company is taxes. So do you sell software to somebody that's related to taxes, or do you do taxes in one job and then your online sales, you sell light bulbs? Because I think that makes a difference. We'll see what he answers back on that, because that's an important distinction, because it, just like my PepsiCo, what is it, Yum Brands that now owns Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, every one of those has their own identity and are run as separate businesses, but they're all under Yum Brands. So I think it depends. If I have online sales that sells tax services, no, you can't do that. If I'm selling TurboTax, all right, parent company does taxes and accounting for parent, sell items on Amazon. Okay, separate those two. The stuff you're selling on Amazon, just go sell it on Amazon unless it has to do with taxes and accounting. If you're selling notebooks and pens and paper, go break them into 2 and do not equate them. So Google's not going to come back and check your tax ID number and say, aha, you're running an Amazon store under your accounting and tax ID. So yeah, I would treat that the same way Pepsi treats Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. They're run as two separate entities, 2 separate businesses, 2 separate brands. And if you don't know that those things are related, then you would never know that they were related enough for them to come back together. The only reason I know that is because I don't know how many people know all those things are interconnected. So if that answers that question. All right, so we've covered the review part. The reviews are important. Make sure that when you do reviews, that you get the reviews done in a way that helps you. So that's another piece of this. So now I'm going to get really nerdy, and I'm going to get nerdy with only 15 minutes left. So it's going to help the nerd program. So you're either going to catch this or you're not going to catch this. If you're using WordPress, I can't use this website. I have to use this website. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud again. Hold on. All right, so let me do this here. SEO 411 site admin. Okay, so there's another piece of this that Google has put in that it's looking for in all of this. Okay. And this is really kind of complicated. So just kind of bear with me a little bit. There's a thing in this world that's called schema. And what it is information about your website and about the services that you offer that are embedded into a page. And when you do schema, I'm able to tell Google, this is a class, this is a service, this is and I'm telling them in a language that they understand. The end result of that starts to put together that knowledge graph. So to come all the way back to the person that says, how do you build the knowledge graph? I did all my Google My Business stuff inside their profile. But I have to come back out and I need to come into my website and I need to put schema on these so that Google understands what I am and what kind of business I am. And I'm looking for the right plugin panel. I apologize. I have multiple schemas running on this website. So let me see if that'll, I think I gotta move that up. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the one I'm looking for, but this one will do just fine. Okay. So what it is it's a set of information that's put in the background of your website that lives in the code that tells Google some information about my website. So if you look down this is the general information that sets it up as a local business and sends the signal that this is a local business. So I literally just had to answer some base questions. Name of the company, is it a local business? Name of the organization, our logo, our price point, our phone number is important. This product ontology piece of this needs to be filled in, okay? And what it is that there is a formal name for every piece of the business that you do. Now, I didn't fill it in on this one, and I will probably at some point sit down and put some brain cells to it and get them all. But this box really probably needs to be filled in that says we do SEO, we do whatever. I have had lawyers that if you put in lawyer, divorce lawyer, there's no such thing as a divorce lawyer in the product ontology world. You're only a family law attorney. And they're pulling them basically out of Wikipedia. And let me see if that'll open in a new window. If it's not in Wikipedia and the Wikipedia page does not exist for a profession, then it doesn't exist. So if I put in, if I put in divorce attorney, see, there's no such thing as a divorce attorney. There's only a family law attorney. So these are the things about knowing what you do and how you do it and how your website affects this. You need to go through and come up with what are all the Wikipedia pages and then format it the way this product ontology one is. So it's a little complicated. I can give you or email anybody that's interested in this particular box, the way that would look. The other thing that I've done is I've come back in and I put in all the social properties that equal our website. Because what I'm doing is I'm telling Google that if you see my Facebook page, it belongs to SEO 411. If you see my LinkedIn page, it belongs to SEO 411. If you see my YouTube channel, so they are to be treated with the same favorability as my own website would be. So it ties it to it. So what it looks like on the outside world is this. So if you look over here, it's pulling a lot of that from that product ontology or from that profile that I just showed you. And you see that it understands, because I've told it that this is my Facebook page and that they should treat it with the same weight that they actually treat the actual website. So they actually put that Facebook profile down there. I'm actually hoping they actually put the YouTube channel down there as well. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I actually can get them to pick that one up. But if I come back, so I go in and I give them all my basic hours of operation. I tell them when I'm here, what I'm doing. I give them the geo coordinates of my business because they're actually looking at where are you geographically located, and they're wanting the longitude and the latitude of your business. So I went in and I did that. I say that we work in a 50-mile radius because really from my house in Kingwood to the Houston A-Leaf campus, we're at like 47 miles. So I think pretty much anywhere that I would service in a client is 50 miles in any direction from my house in Kingwood or my office in Kingwood, and we're in good shape. I gave them both addresses. I told them where we both are. I gave them my logo, and that lives in the underpinnings of this website. It's an important function that has to be added now. And Google has a checker that they look for and they review and they see if you have this data in that website. If you put the data in the website and you put the data incorrectly, not if you enter it correctly, not if you put it incorrectly, that you have to data enter it. You see that I have my local page and all that information that you and I just talked about is here, and Google understands where we are, what our address is, and they check that all up against what I have on the front face of the website, what I have out in all those places that I showed you. And as long as they all match, they start to push you up to the top of the search rankings and up closer in the top of a map. This local business function really needs to be on everybody. So you guys, if you have WordPress, you need to put a schema plugin in. If you're not using WordPress, as I've said like 150 times, please use WordPress. These things are important, they're needed, they're necessary, and they're how Google reviews and relates your website and how they form that knowledge graph about your website. The other thing I'm going to mention, and I don't, again, I can't see who's in the room. If you qualify as I'm going to use the word minor celebrity, and can qualify as getting a Wikipedia page, do so, because that helps feed into this as well. So just understand that the presence of a Wikipedia page also will help. They're not easy to get. They're not easy to put together, and they've gotten really strict on them. But if you can qualify for one because you're a minor celebrity or you've invented something or something's happened in your life that you qualify, go ahead and make sure you have a wiki page because they're going to tie that back to everything as well. So all these things start to work together and form together. And the more of these things and the more of the singles you send, the more powerful you become and the more that website ranks out. But make sure you fix your title tag and you go home tonight and make sure that you don't even have to go home because probably you are at home. I forgot. But go sit down and go through your Google My Business page and make sure that you have the best possible setup so you're the best prepared to win. So I think I'm going to leave it there. We've got 5 minutes left. If anybody has any more questions, please shoot them in. Now would be the time. You guys have been great tonight with all your questions. I'm very appreciative of that because I think the questions help the material and help everybody learn. Because I think if you guys have a question, somebody else probably has a question too. So, but with all of that said, I'm going to call it a night if we don't hear from somebody. And Sandra, if you have anything you want to say in parting, now would be the time.
Okay, hold on a second. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for logging in and for staying in. We've got lots of people in this event and lots of people stayed all the way through it. So what that means is we're going to do it again and we're going to do it twice. So the next dates will be, last time, based upon your feedback, we moved it up a bit. It was 6:30 to 8:30 earlier this month, and we made it 6 to 8 p.m. So that we could all end a little bit earlier, but still have time to do some, grab dinner or something before it was time to settle in. And the next ones are going to be May 13th. The second Wednesday, we'll make it 6 to 8 p.m. and then May 27th. And I guess the last thing I can say, if you have a specific topic that you're interested in, put it in the Q&A, and I'll cut and paste the Q&A answers real quick, and we'll consider that because based upon your feedback last time, we did move the time of it from 6 to 8 p.m. So Beth is kind of an expert on lots of social media, and search engine optimization. So we'll leave room to ask questions about different topics, but if there's a specific topic that seems most popular, we'll consider that. Also, you can email me, Sandra Louvier, at the Center for Entrepreneurship at this email address. It's C like center, 4 like the number 4, E like entrepreneurship. So it's C4E at hccs.edu. If you have any questions or if you want to suggest specific topics for the 2 digital marketing clinics we're going to do in May, please feel free to contact us because we're looking forward to getting together and being in the same room. Beth, thanks for showing that picture of us all gathered. It seems like such a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? It feels like it's like forever. I don't even know. It's like time's passing so slowly. I don't know.
It's slow and fast all at the same time. It's weird. Anyway, though, there's lots of opportunity even in all of these challenges. And together, if we put our heads together, you know, we can continue to maximize things, maximize the opportunities. So I'll be connecting with Beth more and we'll be trying to provide more to you because I do believe I think the market is going to open up and change in the future for a lot more home-based working and home-based businesses. And I think that the daytime population is going to spread out because there will be a lot more people working at home for their employers or because they have figured out that they can do more of what they want to do from their home. So stay posted, send us topics that you want to be covered, and we're going to respond to our market and help you continue to pursue your small business dreams. So thanks everyone, and thanks Beth. And I wanted to also thank Flora Renteria. She's a new person added to our Center for Entrepreneurship team. So you may be getting some emails from our Center for Entrepreneurship, some e-blast, and e-blast about our events through SCORE as well. And
Hey,
then
Sandra, they need you to repeat your email address.
Okay. C, like the letter C, stands for center. 4, like the number 4. E, like entrepreneurship. C4E at HCCS, that stands for Houston Community College System, .edu. So it's short, but it requires explanation. C4E at hccs.edu. I want you to know it because you can email us there, and also because if you get an e-blast from that email address, it's from us. It's from Houston Community College's Center for Entrepreneurship. We're on the west side of town at HCC A-Leaf Hayes. Someday, hopefully, we'll all gather again there. But in the meantime,
there is a building still there, right?
It's still there, yeah. My plants need to be watered, but you know, hopefully we'll get that done. Anyway, I think that's it for now. We got 2 more minutes left. If you want to enter some more questions or suggested topics in the Q&A, please do. And we're going to post this recording also. We're going to make it available. So so we'll follow up with you guys, and we'll invite you to some more great opportunities.
A couple of things is somebody asked if we get a copy of recording. I will get a copy of this and we'll end up having it posted on my website. I don't know if SCORE wants to post it, but whatever we want to do, but it'll be on the SEO 411 on the class page, just like I did with the LinkedIn one we did last time. Somebody else asked about Wix. Wix is I'm going to tell you, I do not think you can do schema in Wix because I don't think they're going to let you put that code in, but don't swear to it. I can't swear to it. But they're not very flexible, which is one of the reasons I keep telling everybody not to be using Wix. It's like seems to come up. Doesn't it come up every single class we have, Sandra? I have to tell everybody don't use Wix. It's like I have to have a whole class on why not to use Wix one day. So because it comes up so much. So I think that covers all the questions that I see. Does anybody else have any more? Let us know. And we'll try to answer them for you. But
do you have some ideas already, Beth? If we don't get a lot more feedback about this, about what the primary topic will be that you want to cover? I
think how to lay out a website is, I think what I want to do is how to put it together so it works for Google. I don't know that because I have the computer here and I can actually demonstrate it. We've done it before in live class, but it's very hard. So I think I want to show everybody how to find the keywords and then how to go ahead and assemble a website and how to make those decisions. I had a website today that one of my staff bought to me, and it literally took me 30 minutes to make the decision of how to how to put it together right. So though that decision is a very important skill set. And I mean, it's basically how to set that website up and how to do it. We had a whole big class where we had everybody set those mind maps up, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set that up and how to put them all together to make it all work
We'll
right.
talk a little bit more about maybe that series of 2-hour classes to build a WordPress website.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
and how to use WordPress. So,
Well, it's 8 p.m. now, so we want to stay on time. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
And hopefully we'll be seeing you again sometime soon virtually.
Yes, thank you. All right, bye-bye.